Hello YouTube, this is MasterHodor with another Wi-Fi battle, this time against Jedi Cardet. This battle is also on his channel, by the way. I'll leave the link in the description from his point of view. And it was a very interesting battle, so I highly suggest you go check out what he had to think about it. He brings along his Gardevoir, Flygon, Charizard, Yanmega, Houndoom, and Aegislash. This Houndoom is his mascot, and I am sure it will be his Mega. Even though he's got two other potential Megas on his team, he always goes with that Houndoom. And for good reason, that thing is a killer. It will rip through a team if you're not prepared for it. With the solar power, with the nasty plot, and good coverage, that thing is a special attacking beast. So I am definitely afraid of that. I am afraid of the speed boost on that Yanmega. It would outspeed my whole team, I think, after one boost, so that's no good. Gardevoir has some pretty strong attacking moves too, as well as the Flygon, and we all know how Charizard and Aegislash work. So yeah, I'm bringing my newest team. It's had great success, and that should continue with this battle. I got the Gliscor, Arcanine, Scizor, Togekiss, Greninja, and Porygon 2. So let's get this battle started, shall we? He, like I said, he's a follower on Twitter. He's a fellow YouTube Pokemon battler. So really go check out his stuff. It's really great. We had a great battle, and yeah, I'll leave the links in the description to his channel. So I go ahead and lead with my Gliscor, and he leads with his Aegislash. Now I expected him to switch out here because he didn't want to take the Earthquake. That's why I went for the Toxic. But he stayed in and boosted up his speed a little bit. That really surprised me. I obviously wouldn't try to poison a Steel type like Aegislash if I expected it to stay in. So now it's going to hit me pretty good with that Iron Head, and I'm free to set up a substitute here. Again, I thought he'd switch out fearing that Earthquake. I was really surprised that he stayed in for so long with that. So I get my substitute up, and now I go for the Earthquake behind the sub. But he used King Shield, so it doesn't do anything. I don't get the attack drop because it's not a contact move. So at least I got that going for me. And now he's going to switch out into his Flygon to take the next Earthquake. And of course that's not going to do anything to it because it's a flying type. Now keep that in mind because he goes right ahead and uses an Earthquake on my Gliscor, which is also a flying type. So yeah, fair play there. I go ahead and get the Toxic off, but he does avoid the Toxic, so that's not very good for me. I don't get the residual damage, but I go for it again, and it does hit this time. And now I know that Flygon over there is weakened. It does have a death sentence. It goes for the Dragon Tail, trying to break my sub, trying to get me out of here. And it is a critical hit. It does break my sub. And I go for the Protect here to get some HP back, and to avoid the next next Dragon Tail as well. My kid is on my lap right now watching, so if you hear him, that's who's asking to watch Pokemon right now. I have it on the TV and he wants to watch me instead. So I switch out here, expecting another Dragon Tail. I switch into Togekiss to absorb that as a fairy type. And now I know he doesn't want to stay in on Kissy Face here. I think he called my Togekiss Kissy Face or Stupid Face or something like that in his video. So, so he brings out his Houndoom, and I went for the Air Slash and hit this very hard. It does almost 50% damage. I was really happy about that. And I switched out to Scizor here expecting a Sludge Bomb. I thought that thing carried Sludge Bomb and it was going to go for the super effective hit on my Togekiss, but instead it Mega Evolves and goes for a Nasty Plot. So now I know I'm in trouble. It's got a boosted special attack through the roof here, and that thing is going to hurt me very hard if it lands a hit. So I know I'm not going to stay in here and take a Fire Blast, so I send out Porygon 2 to take that as best as he can, but after that Nasty Plot, that Fire Blast is going to do a crazy amount of damage, and well over half, actually like 75%, and he outspeeds and gets the Dark Pulse off and takes out my Porygon 2 after just 2 hits. and my Porygon too is very bulky, so that gives you an idea of the power of this thing. But I do get the safe switch into my Greninja after sacrificing that Porygon, and go straight for the Hydro Pump. I couldn't believe he stayed in and let his Houndoom take that. I think he was counting on the miss, but unfortunately for him, it does connect, and that is a major threat out of the way. And he brings in his Yanmega, and like I said, this thing is going to outspeed me after just one turn of using that detect. I went for the U-turn. I guess I should have switched out immediately, because Yanmega relies on that detect first turn, so I should have known I wouldn't get any attacks off right away. So I bring in my Togekiss to threaten with that Air Slash, and he hits me with a super effective Ancient Power. Now luckily he didn't get any stat boosts from that, and it only does like a quarter damage. I'm so proud of my Togekiss there. It can barely touch my Togekiss even with the super effective. So his speed is still boosting, but he decides to switch out of there. He doesn't want to take that Air Slash yet. He brings in his Aegislash, which actually I predicted him to switch, so I went for the Thunder Wave. And even if he didn't switch, that Thunder Wave would have been great, but I just wanted to slow something down. So now that Aegislash is slowed down, and I'm not going to stay in and take an Iron Head right here. So I bring in my Scizor to take that for Togekiss. And it does pretty well. He does land the critical hit on this Iron Head. So it does do a pretty decent chunk of damage to that Scizor, even though it resists it. And now I expect him to switch out right here, because I really didn't think he wanted to stay in and not do a lot of damage and let me boost up. So I went for the Pursuit, expecting the switch, and he went for the King Shield, which was very, very, very smart on his play, scouting out what I had, and he found out I had a Pursuit, and obviously that just gets my attack dropped, and that was a bad play by me. Well, I mean, it would have KO'd if he did switch, and I expected him to switch, but now he's got a pretty good attack drop on me, and I am forced to go for the Swords Dance on the switch, and he brings in his Charizard. Now I know that thing's going to take me on one hit. I know I don't outspeed it, so I go for the priority Bullet Punch just to get some damage off, and I had nothing else to take that Flare Blitz at this time, besides maybe Gliscor, but I did want to save that, so that's my Scizor down. That's too bad. That is a very strong attacker on my team, and now he's down. But I get another safe switch into my Greninja, which is always appreciated by me, and I go for another Hydro Pump, and this one also hits. Again, he left his Pokemon in to get hit by a Hydro Pump, and again, I am thrilled about that. I couldn't believe he did that. Again, I think he was expecting another miss. He didn't get it. Now this time I learned my lesson. I hard switched out on that Yanmega, because I'm sure it was going to go for that detect. And I bring in my Togekiss there to threaten the Air Slash again. I know it doesn't want to stay in on that Air Slash, so he does withdraw, and he brings in something better suited to handle my Togekiss. He brings out that Aegislash again, but now it's paralyzed. I know the Air Slash isn't going to do a lot, but I do have a trick up my sleeve. I carry the Flamethrower on this Togekiss for situations like this. I don't want to get hit by the Iron Head, but also I know he can't hit me first turn right away. I was pretty confident he wouldn't one-hit KO me, so I get a Flamethrower off. That does a ton of damage. Unfortunately, he has a weakness policy on that Aegislash, and his attack gets boosted through the roof. He goes for a speed boost as well, and now I think, okay, it's going to outspeed me. Its attack is boosted up. I'm going to lose my Togekiss on this turn. So I go for the Flamethrower again, just in case, and amazingly, I still outspeed it. If you're watching and you know how I outsped that, please let me know. I did not expect to outspeed that Aegislash. I thought that was going to wreck the rest of my team. And luckily for me, I do get the Flamethrower off, and in comes the Gardevoir, which is a very strong special attacker. It isn't very bulky, but after that Calm Mind, its special defense is raised. I go for the Thunder Wave there, and I forgot about its Synchronize, so now I'm also paralyzed. That was kind of a bad play on my part, but at least I know it's going to be paralyzed no matter what I have in. I know my Togekiss isn't going to do a lot of damage to it, So, and as paralyzed, we actually both get parahaxed on this turn. That was pretty funny to get back-to-back, I think, actually, paralysis. So that was pretty funny. He goes for the Psychic. That does a ton of damage. I go for the Air Slash, knowing it's not going to do a lot. And I predict the next Psychic coming in to take me out, so I send out my Greninja again to take that, to absorb that as a Dark type. And that prediction was right. And I know I'm not going to stay in on this and take like a Dazzling Gleam or something like that, or a Focus Blast. So I know I got a U-turn out of there. I was hoping the U-turn would do more damage, considering it only boosted its special attack, or special defense, not its regular defense. But it does not do a lot of damage. However, I do get out of there. I get a safe switch back into my Togekiss, expecting the Dazzling Gleam. And it does take my Togekiss out on this turn. Kissy Face is out of the way. Stupid Kissy Face. Gone. I get my switch into Arcanine here, which is a very, very, very strong, very underrated Pokemon. I highly suggest you try running one at some point, because this Flare Blitz does take out this Gardevoir right here. It's very fast, it's very strong, and it proceeds to get rid of that threat out of my way. It's Life Orb too, so that's really, really, really hitting hard. So he brings in his Flygon, and I knew a Flare Blitz wasn't going to do me much good, but I go for the close combat, and that does manage to take that Flygon out from the HP it was at. So I'm very happy about that. Two more threats out of my way. He brings in here to take care of my Arcanine. He brings in his Yanmega. Now that's not going to take a Flare Blitz, but it is going to detect, and I know it carries that that ancient power, and it's going to outspeed me unless I go for extreme speed. So I decide to well, I let it take actually I let my Arcanine go down there because it did its job, and I had other ways of dealing with this Yanmega. So I bring out my Gliscor finally, and I go ahead and take this Air Slash. Well, it misses. I get the Toxic off, which is great, because now I know there's a Death Sense on that Yanmega, and I'm bringing it down with me if I go down. So I know this is not very exciting to watch, the Toxic style Gliscor. I know how that feels. I am on the other side of that all the time, but it is so effective, and for the remainder of the battle here, that's just what I'm going to go for. I am going to protect here, get that toxic damage off. I'm going to actually go for a double protect here. I can't hit this Yanmega with anything. I only carry Earthquake, so I cannot damage it directly. That Air Slash is a critical hit. It does a decent amount of damage, and so I know it can eventually take me down if I stay in and don't protect, don't be careful here. So I do go for a protect again. I get some more HP back, and at this point it's just if I can stall it out longer than it takes him to get a critical off on me or something like that. It has a Citrus Berry, which, I mean, at that point I said, oh my god, it's got a Citrus Berry. I thought right there that was going to be the difference, and it was going to be able to live long enough to take out my team. So I go for the Protect. I'm still going for Protect. That's all I can do at this point. And I managed to get the double Protect off. That's right, a double Protect. I was very, very, very lucky about that. And I know now that it's going to go down the next turn to the Toxic. So I switch out to my Greninja. I don't care if it knocks out my Greninja, because at least I have that Gliscor to switch back into. And the Air Slash does not KO. The Toxic does, and that is game. So thank you very much, Jedi Cardet. I am sorry it had to come down to that Toxic stall. Again, I know how that feels. And good game, good game. You have a great team. Very scary. And I hope we can have a rematch sometime, because that was a great great battle. I promise I won't bring the Gliscor in next time, so that we can have a little bit faster of a battle, and so it doesn't have to come down to stuff like that. So thanks for battling me. Everyone watching, please check out his channel and Twitter. I'll leave the links below. Also, if you like this video, please hit like, please subscribe. I don't ask for that in every video, but it does help me a lot to know that other people are watching. So yeah, until next time, thank you so much for watching.